Lumix G9 is the latest flagship model from Panasonic. It is based on a GH5 which we already reviewed and were very satisfied with it. But the fact is GH5 is made primarily for video recording. It is also a good still image camera, but primarily for video. That's why Panasonic made this model, the G9. This one is aimed directly at photographers. In terms of size and weight, this camera is among bigger mirrorless models. This is not necessarily a bad thing, since big cameras usually handle good with large lenses, and they also have more and bigger, physically bigger buttons and dials. In other words, it is easier to handle these cameras. Ergonomics is pretty much perfect. This camera has a really well-shaped grip, all my fingers can fit on this grip, and also it has a very good thumb rest. The new addition on this camera is the status stop LCD, which can show the most important settings like ISO value, aperture, shutter speed and so on. This is very good since a lot of photographers might use it with closed LCD, so they can see main settings without looking through the electronic viewfinder. You can also buy this vertical grip as an extra. When you mount it on the camera, it becomes really big and really heavy, but also it handles even better, especially if you have really big hands, and it also handles perfect in vertical position. Of course, it doubles all the main controls like shutter button, two dials and joystick on the back side. Both the camera and the grip are weather and dust sealed. On the backside you can see a 3 inches LCD screen, which is of course articulated. This is something we expect from all Panasonic cameras. This is especially a good thing for vlogs, since you can see yourself while you are filming. LCD has 3 inches diagonal and around 1 million dots. It has perfect viewing angles and looks really good, but this is something to be expected in 2018. LCD also has a touch interface. You can change focus points with it, use it for changing items in main or quick menu, and of course you can use it in playback. Above the LCD you can see electronic viewfinder, which is in my opinion maybe even the best electronic viewfinder ever built in mirrorless camera. It has the same resolution like the one on GH5, around 3.6 million dots, but is even bigger. In fact, it is so big sometimes it is hard to see corners of this LCD. That's why Panasonic has this extra button over here with which you can change the size of display inside the viewfinder. G9 is powered by the same lithium battery that is used in GH5. It is strong enough for around 400 shots at minimum. Battery can be recharged using this supplied AC charger. Also, the camera can be powered using a micro USB cable. In other words, you can charge or power the camera using power bank, the ones that we use for our smartphones. G9 has absolutely all the connectors you might want. It has micro USB 3.0, it has HDMI output, 3.5mm microphone input, headphones output, flash sync connector, and of course connector for wired remote. Wi-Fi connectivity is also built in. Application is of course free and it works without any issues. It is quite fast and easy to navigate, and also you can use all the functions in the camera: video recording, still image recording, time-lapse, playback. Everything is available also on Panasonic application. Image quality is very good. Panasonic stated they made certain alterations to sensor and image processor, and you can really see that. This is actually the first Panasonic that has really good color reproduction. Besides the global adjustments like white balance, global saturation, shadow lifting and something like that, I didn't feel the need to adjust any other thing on the images. One of the main features on this camera is the high resolution shot. This is not entirely new feature. We've seen it on Olympus EM1 Mark II, but this is actually the first time that this feature actually works as it should. What's happening here? This Panasonic has image stabilization on the sensor, and you can also use it for high resolution. Sensor moves just by a single pixel in every direction and takes several images which are then combined into a single high resolution exposure. Highest available resolution is 80 megapixels, and as you can see from these examples, you can really see the difference. The image you see right now is the normal 20 megapixel native exposure, and if you look at 100%, you can see really good rendering of details, especially the tiles on the roof of the house on the left. But if you look on the house on the right, you can clearly see the lack of details. It is really not enough resolution for something like that. High resolution shot which you see right now actually can render even the tiles on the right roof, so this is really a visible difference. Of course, there are certain limitations for high resolution shot. Most important of them is the fact you absolutely need to have the camera on a steady tripod. Handheld, this high resolution shot will not work. There are also some other limitations. For example, you won't be able to select shutter speed longer than 1 second, aperture closed more than f8, and a few of other ones. But this feature, for those who it is built for, and these are primarily landscape and fine art shooters, will actually really make a difference. G9 has a built-in stabilization on the sensor, but can also benefit from image stabilization inside the lenses, and most of the Panasonic lenses already have it. Together with electronic stabilization, all three of them can make really good stabilization both on images and in videos. You can right now see an example, me walking down the street without stabilization. This is really shaky, but once I turn it on, the effect is really noticeable. This is almost like a Steadicam. For still image photographers, this is maybe even more important, as you can take images even on exposures as long as 1 or maybe even 2 seconds on wide angle. If you have a particular steady hand, you might go even down to 2 seconds. This is really something out of this world. In fact, there is only one camera on the market that has image stabilization as good as Panasonic G9, and that is Olympus EM1 Mark II. For a camera that is made primarily for still image photographers, G9 has also quite solid video set. You can record video in 4K resolution at 60 frames per second, and let me remind you, right now at the beginning of 2018 there are only 3 cameras on the market that can record in 4K 60p. G9, Panasonic GH5 and Canon 1DX Mark II, which costs I think 4 times as much as this one. Video quality is really good, it is detailed and has excellent color reproduction. I'm especially satisfied with how autofocus works on G9. In fact, I think it is actually a bit better than the one on GH5. So in my opinion, G9 might even be the better choice as a video camera for those of you who are not primarily video shooters. If you will not grade footage, you do not need flat profiles and stuff like that. This is the stuff G9 doesn't have, GH5 has it, but G9 is therefore simpler to use. So if you want to make just video logs without much grading on the footage, I think G9 is maybe even better choice than GH5. So to round things up, I think Panasonic made the best Lumix camera ever. In terms of image quality, especially color rendering, this is clearly the best camera they have ever made. It has excellent ergonomics, it is weather sealed, has excellent LCD screen, articulated, electronic viewfinder is probably the best on the market, autofocus is very fast. This camera excels pretty much in every aspect. There are just a few things I can say that are bad about the GH9, and you will probably agree with me, they are not that important. For example, the light on the status LCD will turn off after 5 seconds, no matter if you are adjusting something or not, and the joystick can recognize only up, down, left and right movement. You cannot move it in diagonal. But in my opinion, these are not that important things. Everything that is good on this camera is really good, and most of everything, I think this is a really fun camera to use, and this is what will make you to use it more and more and take even more good images. That's pretty much everything for this review. Subscribe to our channel, press like, and thank you for watching.